Done a lot of thinking about heaven, as has Greg and Jeremy. Interesting, those of us on the stage here tonight, I'm sure we've all thought a lot more about heaven in the last few years. And this is one of my, a song that came out of one of those times of me just thinking about what heaven really is and is going to be. Heaven is the face of a little girl with dark brown eyes that disappear when she smiles. And heaven is the place where she calls my name and says, Daddy, please come play with me for a while. And God, I know it's all of this and so much more, but God, you know that this is what I'm aching for. And God, you know I just can't see beyond the door. So right now, heaven is the sound of her breathing deep, lying on my chest, falling fast asleep while I sing. And heaven is the weight of her in my arms, being there to keep her safe from harm while she dreams. And I know it's all of this and so much more, but God, you know that this is what I'm aching for. And God, you know I just can't see beyond the door. But in my mind's eye, I can see a place where your glory fills every empty space. All the cancer is gone, every mouth is fed, and there's no one left in the open space. Every lonely heart finds the one true love. There's no more goodbyes, no more, not enough to live. There's no more enemy. There's no more enemy. But heaven is a sweet maple syrup kiss, and 1,000 other little things I miss with her gone. And heaven is the place where she takes my hand and she leads me to you, and we both run into your arms. And I know it's so much more than I can dream. It's far beyond anything I can see. So God, you know I'll trust in you until I see heaven in the face of my little girl. Heaven in the face of my little girl. A short verse that we all memorize, when we grow up in church. Jesus wept, because it's quick and easy to memorize. But that is actually a verse that's become so precious to me, because when I try to put into words, even the day, even the days around that event, and you talked about it a little bit earlier, trying to comfort people, trying to find something to say. I think there was a profound lesson and even a profound truth in that short little verse in how Jesus responded to death. He wept. He didn't speak. He knew what was coming. He even knew he was getting ready to do a miracle and perform this great miracle and raise Lazarus from the dead. But there's a depth that no words really are appropriate for or deep enough for. A depth of pain. It's not how it was supposed to be. It's not how we were supposed to, what we were supposed to experience. Any of us, but especially parents losing a child. And yet, that is how also I feel like God did show up in those
early hours and days for us were through people who would weep with us and would just stand with us, and the comfort that we would receive from that. And I know you know what I'm talking about. And you mentioned it, you know, the few little words occasionally would hit the mark. Mostly they kind of went past you, and the most comforting things were people saying, there are no words, and they would weep. But the words that you reminded me of, and you know this, how precious and meaningful it was to get that little note from you, even before you had walked through this journey yourself, to say Maria is a far greater reality of your future than of your past. And just those little reminders of the gospel is true. These are the moments when that anchor, it's that anchor that has to hold. If it doesn't hold, we're gone, we're done for. Because the tsunamis are hitting and just, you know, would just crush us. But that anchor did hold, and it continues to hold. The hope that we have, that we're going to almost see that little heaven in the face of my little girl again.
That's right. It's been about 2.5 years, Stephen.
Yeah.
And how is it different today than it was maybe 2.5 months after? How does the grief express itself? Do you still have really hard days, hard hours, hard moments? Is it constantly there before you, or do you have a different perspective, or is it all the above?
You know, it's kind of all of the above.
For me too.
Yeah. I mean, there are days when you think we're really starting to. My wife calls it a new normal. You know, and it's not the defining thing in our lives.
Yeah.
But I love it. Even you just said it. You start marking time from that day, because it's a redefining.
Right.
It reshapes you. We kind of call it an earthquake. We were in China when they had that devastating earthquake about 2 weeks before we had our personal earthquake of losing Maria. And we returned there, and we've seen the devastation, and they're building new buildings up, and yet there's still the ruins and the devastation around, and it'll always be there. And even the new buildings even the new growth will be a reminder of that day and that tragedy.
Right. Well, in your song, you actually say that, continuing on, beauty will rise out of these ashes, beauty will rise, we'll dance among the ruins, we'll see him with our own eyes, out of the ashes, beauty will rise, we know joy's coming in the morning. That's from the scripture, isn't it?
Yeah. The weeping that lasts through the night, and boy, sometimes, I mean, I know, and we know, and we say it to each other, you know, this life is so short, it's the blink of an eye. But boy, some days it feels like a very long, slow blink.
Yes.
You know, it's like, okay, you know, I thought a blink was quicker than this. I don't think this blink's ever going to be over. And that, you know, that is, there's still those days. And I mean, I'm being honest, that today's been one of those days. It's just been one of those days, I don't know, for whatever different reasons, you know, and I'm needing to hear this tonight. I'm not standing here, and I think I can say this true of all of us that will stand here, not from this place of having, you know, fully grasped and conquered this and go, hey, yeah, here we are to tell you how to walk through this. We are still on that journey, but it is the grace of God, and it is it's faith. It's by faith that we are anchoring. We have this hope as an anchor. We're going to drop anchor again every 15 minutes, every day, every week, whenever we need it, into this hope that we have in the promises of our God.
What would you say, because you address a lot of issues of pain and suffering, not just the death of a loved one, but you talk about the bad news of hearing that you may have cancer or some other thing.
She spins and she sways to whatever song plays, without a care in the world. And I'm sitting here wearing the weight of the world on my shoulders. It's been a long day and there's still work to do. She's pulling at me saying that I need you. There's a ball at the castle and I've been invited, and I need to practice my dancing. Oh please, Daddy, please. So I dance with Cinderella while she's here in my arms, 'cause I know something the prince never knew. Oh, I dance with Cinderella. I don't wanna was on too soon. The clock will strike midnight, and she'll be gone. She says he's a nice guy, I'd be impressed, and she wants to know if I approve of the dress. She says that the prom is just 1 week away, and I need to practice my dancing. Oh please, Dad, please. So I dance Cinderella while she's here in my arms. 'Cause I know something the prince never knew. Oh, I dance with Cinderella. I don't wanna miss even one song. 'Cause all too soon the clock will strike midnight, and she'll be gone. When she came home today with a ring on her hand, just glowing and telling us all they had planned. She says that the wedding is 6 months away, and I need to practice my dancing. Oh please, Dad, please. So I dance with Cinderella while she's here in my arms. 'Cause I know something the prince never knew. Oh, I would dance with Cinderella. I don't wanna miss even one song. It's all too soon. Clock will strike midnight, but I know the truth is the dance will go on.